What is up, guys? And we're back with What If Naruto had the Obi Obi no Mi? Or What If Naruto, part 2 of What If Naruto was lost reincarnation. Now, we left off with basically Tazuna standing at the doorway of the Hokage's office, and basically he was explaining to them about the mission and that they're escorting Tazuna to the land of the waves. After this, Naruto would then head home, and basically Naruto would pack his bags with his medical supplies, extra outfits of Law's drip, and a sword cleaner, or like a certain item to clean his sword and keep it fresh. Naruto would then head to the village gates and rendezvous with the rest of his team. Team 7 would then head out of the village with Tazuna following along to basically, just like staying with them. 2 hours into their trip, or 2 hours into their walk, Naruto would turn to Sasuke and ask, "What would you do after you kill Itachi?" Sasuke would say that he's gonna restore his clan, and maybe he says, "I'm gonna restore the Uchiha clan and maybe become the clan head or official clan head in a sense." Naruto then nodded and asked Sasuke if after this mission they wanted to go train or go on like a training trip to complete their goals, since their goals like coexist. So he'd be down, and basically, my God, what am I saying? Sasuke would say that he'd be down to basically go on a major training trip or something like that. After like basically this would end their conversation with them coming up across the puddle. After this, the demon brothers would pop out and quote unquote kill Itachi. Naruto, seeing this and knowing that that Kakashi is not dead, would use amputate, one of Law's abilities. And if you guys don't know Law's abilities or techniques, I'm going to link a video in the description explaining all of Law's abilities and techniques and like what it does. Basically, back to the what if is he would basically use amputate to slice one brother in half. Basically, it won't kill him, but it's like he's out of state. He's like slicing them in half, but they're still alive. After this, Sakura would definitely put the other brother in a headlock with Sasuke, like putting in a headlock to hold him down while Sasuke shoved a kunai through his heart, killing him. The other brother would be pretty scared at these people's like ruthless bloodlust or like intent to kill, and it would quickly start spilling about the mission in general. Like when they would ask him a question, he would not hesitate to start answering the questions, basically spilling the tea about everything, about Gato, Zabuza, and what their plans for why they wanted to kill the bridge builder. After this, Naruto would basically use mess and like it's like putting the heart into a cubical shape, and he would stab through the heart, basically killing the brother or the demon brothers of the demon brothers now. After this, Team 7 would keep walking forward about 1 to 2 kilometers before Kakashi would tell them to duck after the mist would roll in, and he would recognize the MO of Zabuza. When Kakashi would tell them to duck, a Zabuza's blade would come flying through them, and Naruto would unsheath Kyuko, basically Lost Sword, that's its name. After unsheathing Kiko, he would then use Tacta and basically redirect his sword to a tree, launching it into the wood of frame produced by nature. Basically, just describing that it's a tree. Zabuza would then land on the sword before having their similar monologue or dialogue with Kakashi. And pretty much the fight, Kakashi and Zabuza's fight, would go similar to canon. Before Kakashi would be trapped into a water prison, because of his because of him being rusty after like leaving the Yambu. Naruto would see this and look towards Sasuke, and since over the month they didn't just learn jutsus, they also partaken in team formation and read books from the great ninja wars and how they leaf won battles, and they actually incorporated that into their fighting style, growing stronger slowly and slowly, but they're still evolving at the end of the day. Naruto would tell Sasuke to do Formation A, which I'm just picking up a random formation. Sasuke proceeds to use a Chidori or like produce it, and Naruto would use Shambo, switching places with a rock he threw behind Zabuza's clone, and then Sasuke would be teleported behind Zabuza's clone. Basically, he would switch places with the rock and Sasuke. After this, Naruto would basically uh, put the Chidori through Zabuza, basically dispersing the artificial life of the clone. After this, Naruto would pretty much use shambles again or charge at Zabuza using the Gamma Knife, destroying all his organs from the inside of Zabuza's body, severely injuring Zabuza. Before Naruto would use Room, keeping Zabuza in place, and then Naruto would use Counter Shock on him, basically finally killing him. Naruto would then quickly turns towards Sasuke and tell him to duck, and Sasuke would duck, basically barely avoiding the senbon going for his face. After this, Naruto would see a fully bloodlust Haku, which then would pretty much spur Naruto to use amputate and slice Haku in half. Right after, and then he would use injection shot to stab Haku through the heart, or quote unquote heart, killing him. After the mission, Naruto would quickly take down Gato and his soldiers before robbing the vault. But due to the kind part of him, he gave 40% of it to the village and saves the rest for himself for the upcoming training trip that he's gonna partake in. After the mission, since pretty much they were gonna go on the training trip after the mission, since they actually didn't know about the Chunin exams, so it was a good plan. After this, the bridge would be named after Naruto Water D Namikaze, since I thought this was actually a pretty good bridge to be named after. After the mission would take place, the Team 7 basically head back to the village and give the mission report to the third Hokage. And after resting for a few days, Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke would meet up at the village gates in stealth mode, I guess, before basically debbing out the village. They would then regroup behind some trees, and Naruto would then use the reverse summoning jutsu. Since over the time, Naruto has actually gained a summoning or a alliance with the snake summoning island, the snake summoning world. After this, they would then meet the snake sage, and the snake sage would basically welcome them, but he would be surprised at Sasuke's attitude. Since all the Uchihas that the sage has met has not been like Sasuke, since most of the Uchihas were always filled with the Uchiha hate. But he'd be pretty surprised. So this would actually help in their case, or not their case, but this would help Sasuke learn Snake Sage mode, any summoning jutsu he would learn in the cave. Naruto would basically be training Sakura, since Naruto is a doctor or has doctor techniques, and basically Sakura in the Shippuden slash Boruto learned healing techniques. So this is a good time to learn something. And Naruto himself will be learning more techniques with the Devil Fruit, while still learning some techniques like the Flying Raijin and the Rasengan. And basically they'd be training for the month. And after this, after the 1 month of training, the Snake Sage would tell him that someone's attacking, or not the 1 month, 2 months. So they would pretty much, they would get pretty strong, change their physique, and they'd be pretty tall and more lean, I guess you could say, and stronger in their fighting in general. After this, the Snake Sage would rush in the room and told them that somebody's actually attacking the village hidden in the leaves. Naruto would tell them if the Snake Sage could reverse summoning jutsu them. After this, basically the Snake Sage would reverse summoning jutsu them in front of Gaara, outside the village, and Naruto would then tell Sasuke to basically fight Gaara. And since Sasuke over the 1 month had 1 to 2 month training trip has gained, he gained the Mangekyou. Since honestly, I don't see how he can't gain the Mangekyou after training so hard and learning the truth about his clan during that 1 to 2 month time skip. I don't see that not happening. After this, Sasuke would pretty much basically get into a taijutsu fight with Gaara, and after this, they would pretty much have a similar taijutsu battle to how Rock Lee and Gaara had. And I mean, the original Sasuke versus Gaara and that taijutsu area. After this, Sasuke realized he has to use his Chidori, so he would awaken his Mangekyo and infuse Amaterasu into his Chidori before charging at Gaara and impaling it through his shoulder, since he didn't want to kill Gaara. After this, Gaara would fully transform, and basically Sasuke would have to use his summoning jutsu, summoning Ao. I think that's a snake name, or yeah, I think it's Ao. It's like the snake that Sasuke has in Shippuden or during the war arc. After this, the snake would try to fight with basically Sasuke, but it would be too much power, and um, um, my bad. Sasuke would have to get into like a meditating pose before copping into the snake stage mode. I know, right? Like Sasuke is too OP. It's not perfected. So like you would kind of like how Jiraiya uses Sage mode. You kind of like uses Sage mode with the help of the snake. After this, all his techniques are like full are like powered by 10 times. So Sasuke would pretty much use a Susanoo or his ribcage Susanoo to shoot an arrow towards Gaara, basically breaking through Shikaku himself, and Sasuke would pretty much body flicker at Gaara and knock him out of that hypnosis state he was in with the jutsu he used to bring out Shikaku. After this, Sasuke would give him a weaker version of the Takano Jutsu, basically turning Gaara good. Now we're gonna turn to Naruto's perspective. He would be running through the village, and he would see Hiruzen. Like once he would head to the Hokage's tower, he would see Hiruzen about to use the Reaper Death Seal. After this, basically Naruto would use Room to gain control and break the barrier. After this, after he would break the barrier or shatter it completely, you would then charge at Orochimaru before using his injection shot to shoot right through Orochimaru's heart, trying to kill him. After this, Orochimaru would just spit out another body. This would really annoy Naruto, so he would use Room, and he would then use Amputate, but he realized that didn't work either. He just kept spitting out bodies. After this, Naruto realized he had to use his technique, or he would have to use all his power, and this would pretty much use all his energy. Naruto would charge energy into his blade before using a 1080 720 pound, kind of like a Getsuga Tensho, sending it right at Orochimaru. Before Orochimaru could actually do anything, he would then use Room and use Shambles, basically giving him the thinking that he's going to get hit and making him into a state of defense. Naruto would then teleport behind Orochimaru before using the Gamma knife and basically taking all of Orochimaru's organs out from the inside, leaving no external wound. After this, Naruto would then use Radio Knife, completely slashing Orochimaru into pieces before Naruto would then seal him into his scroll for the Benga books, and he actually needs to seal Orochimaru. After this, Naruto pretty much passed out from chakra exhaustion, and he would then 3 days later he would then wake up at the Konoha hospital, and Kakashi would inform him or debrief him of what happened, and basically he would be summoned. After he recovered and all, he would be summoned to the Hokage's office, or he would see this guy with kind of neck hair, like really long white hair, and Toad products, or guy person looks like the Jiraiya. And Naruto would ask, are you Jiraiya? And he'd pretty much say yeah. And Hiruzen would tell him that they're actually going to go convince Tsunade to become the 5th Hokage. And since Naruto in this timeline actually lived with Tsunade for the 12 years of him growing up, this would be easy. And before they left, Hiruzen would tell Naruto that as his last act of being Hokage, he's promoting Naruto to Jonin. And he would hand him like a ID, I guess, or something to prove that he's like Jonin, since I don't think Naruto really wants to wear the Jonin vest. After this, Naruto would then say thank you to Hiruzen for the promotion, and him and Jiraiya would then head out of the village to go retrieve Tsunade to become Hokage. After this, he would tell Sasuke that he's actually going, like, after the invasion, he would tell Sasuke that he's actually going to head out. And Sasuke would say, or, all right. And basically, Naruto and Jiraiya would head out, with Naruto basically being Naruto not having to be convinced, since it is a duty of a ninja. And I don't think Law would be like Naruto was, like Naruto, like in the kin encounter part of Naruto. So Naruto wouldn't have to be bribed. Oh, I'll teach you a jutsu. Jiraiya would ask him if he wants to learn a jutsu over the time. Naruto would say, which jutsu? Uh, Jiraiya would try to do the awesome, like, introduction of the fourth Hokage jutsu, the Rasengan. And Naruto would say, you mean this? And he would just bring out his hand and form a Rasengan. And Jiraiya would be pretty surprised at this level of development. And he'd ask, like, how'd you learn it? Naruto would say, when he was in Ryuchi Cave, he actually learned it. And Naruto, like, what's it called? Jiraiya would say, well, do you want to learn the summoning jutsu? And honestly, Naruto would say, yeah, he's down. Basically, Naruto would learn the summoning jutsu, since they had a little time. So, like, the little time they had, Naruto quickly learned the summoning jutsu and made pacts with these toads. And, learned to summon Gamabunsa just in case he needed to summon him. After this, Naruto would basically Naruto and Jiraiya would head to that hotel, that famous hotel. Basically, it's not famous, but we all know this place and what happens here. So Naruto would be dumped by Jiraiya at the hotel because Jiraiya is just a simp, and he needed some the research. Yeah, we all know his research. After this, Naruto would then hear a knock on the door, and he'd go to open it, and he'd say, Hitachi, Kisame Hoshigaki, Uchiha Hitachi. Itachi would say, Uzumaki Naruto, it's time you came with us. You are the Jinchuriki, something like that. Something that the Akatsuki would say to any Jinchuriki they're about to kidnap. Naruto would say, I don't think I will, before using Room and using Amputate to slash Kisame in half. And then he would teleport away from Itachi, since he has some respect for Sasuke not to basically attack Itachi. Itachi would ask, why did you purposely avoid me? Naruto would basically point behind him, and there was Sasuke, basically in Snake Stage mode, and basically using his Mangekyou. So Itachi would actually be like, bro, this guy is like, his jaw is like at the floor. Like, how did Sasuke get the Mangekyou? But he would quickly dismiss his thought before a burning flame of Matarasu would reach him, or not reach him, or come at him. Itachi, in a state of desperation, would basically form the Susanoo, basically protecting him from the Amaterasu, before he would disappear into crows and basically teleport behind, or body flicker behind Sasuke, before grabbing him by the neck and slamming him against the wall, before using a really powered Tsukuyomi. So, like, he's like really putting all his power into this. And in the Genjutsu, Sasuke would say, I know the truth. Itachi would be pretty flabbergasted, but he would tell Sasuke that in 3 years he wants him to, and he would tell him the exact date. He wants him to meet him at the Uchiha clan, like where Sasuke and Itachi fought, the Uchiha clan, hideouts. After this, Itachi would then turn into crows before Jiraiya would pull up, and since Sasuke was not affected by the Tsukuyomi, since he has the Mangekyou himself, he would ask if he can come along with them. Jiraiya would actually not find a problem with this, and he'd be like, "Come on, young." I was about to pick up. Never mind. But he's like, "Come along, Sasuke Uchiha." After this, Sasuke would come along, and basically, Naruto would tell him about his certain plans with the Land of the Waves. And Sasuke would be curious, and he'd ask, "What are your plans for the Land of the Waves? Isn't that like a poorer country? What do you gain from them?" Naruto would say that he's actually gonna become like a Kage there, and he's gonna lead that land pretty much, since the land of the Mist Village don't seem to care about that village itself. Since if they really did care, then why was Gato a thing there? Sasuke would understand and say, he would help him on the way there, being his right hand man, I guess you could say. After this, Jiraiya would interrupt them, saying that they are there at the village when basically they would walk in to get some grub, since they are hungry, like just like I am hungry right now. But after this, Naruto would basically um, like see Tsunade and say, "Yo, Tsunade, what up?" Tsunade would say, "Hey," um, trying like her best not to like uh, be like a. I mean, she is drunk, so we don't really know how she would act. Now I do know. She would then say Jiraiya, and then they would have their similar conversation with them asking if she would be Hokage. In this timeline, she would say no at first, but after some convincing, and from Naruto, that talk no jutsu is just like way too powerful. But Naruto would pull out the talk no jutsu and talk no jutsu Tsunade to come back to the village, saying that you don't want Danzo being Hokage, right? Something like that. Just guilt tripping her. After this, Tsunade would agree, and basically they would head back to the village, and this would basically mark the Sasuke retrieval arc. The Sound Four would try to retreat Sasuke to like use a jutsu to have Orochimaru revived inside Sasuke's body, but that would be completely shut down with Sasuke putting using basically just clapping them. Okay, I don't see how the Sound Four is surviving against Snake Stage mode Mangekyo Sasuke. That's not happening. This would mark the 3-year time skip where Naruto, Jiraiya, and Naruto Jiraiya would basically head out of the village, and Sakura would still train with Tsunade, and Sasuke would train with the Kakashi, getting some experience in the Anbu. Like the 3 years, he would be training with experienced Anbu members, and he would join in on the Anbu missions, going on A rank missions, S rank missions, maybe stuff like that, and getting some experience in the ninja world. Why Sakura just basically Shippuden Sakura is gonna have the same power level as Boruto Sakura, since I don't see like why that's a problem, itself. But Naruto after the 3 years would be walking back with Jiraiya, and they'd be at the village gates, and Naruto would basically say hi to the village guards, and they say, "Yo, who are you?" Naruto would then pull out his joining ID, and they would recognize him. It's like, "Oh, Naruto, you definitely grew up over the 3 year times." Nah, stop breaking the fourth wall though. But he says he definitely grew up after like 3 years. After this, Naruto would say, "Yeah, thanks," and he would then basically get some ramen and head to the reunite with Team Seven and head to the Hokage's tower. Naruto would then ask Tsunade who's this person they're fighting, since Tsunade was going on about someone they're fighting. Naruto would then jump out the window, or not jump out the window, like climb over the window and see Kakashi there. And this is where I'll be leaving off part 2 of What If Naruto Had the Obi Obi no Mi. I think this is a good part to leave off. Shippuden. I think it's pretty good. I hope this part was pretty good. I mean, I can't tell unless you guys. I can only see the results. But the What If Naruto was Gojo's reincarnation, or What If Naruto had Gojo's powers? That's gonna be coming out tomorrow or Monday. But I'm probably gonna make it like today, but I'm gonna have it scheduled tomorrow, basically, or the Monday. But other than that, peace out, guys.